Hello! Welcome to another read-along for Robin Cook's Foreign Body. Well, my friends, it's not all bad. I have just finished chapter 19 of Foreign Body. I am intrigued by the plot at this point. I'm not really sure what's going to happen next. It kind of sounds like some people might be out to get the main character, Jennifer, but at the same time, one of her friends is coming over from the United States who has an appointment with a doctor at the same hospital that might be trying to get Jennifer. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, are they going to kill her? What's going to happen? With the exception of the bad guys, a lot of the characters actually are pretty believable. At the very beginning of chapter 13, absently, she wondered how much hotter it would have been outside had all the pollution not blocked out a significant portion of the sun's rays. I had that same thought too. It has nothing to do with the plot. But that was a thought that I had. And so when Jennifer, the protagonist, had that thought, I was like, she is educated about the environment and knows something about the atmosphere. Like me. Ha 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 ha. Page 224. Sudden clairvoyance made Lori know it was the hormones at work again, similar to her response last night with Jack and in the grocery store with the elderly woman. There is no detail about this incident with the elderly woman. All we know is that she's thinking about an incident she had with an elderly woman in which she lashed out in fury because of her hormones. Not because she's a woman, but because she's actually on like a hormonal treatment to try to become pregnant. And the author just leaves it at that. That's it. Just like the elderly woman, no more detail. Leaves the person thinking, okay, what did happen with this elderly woman at the grocery store? And it also makes the character a little more believable. Page 238. Jack had not seen Lori so motivated since she and her mom had teamed up for planning their wedding. That's a nice little detail to include. Nothing about the wedding, nothing, just, a nice thought that a normal person would probably have. I imagine this book would be a lot shorter without all of these little additional anecdotes and thoughts and things like that thrown in here and there that make all of the good guy characters more believable. Which then makes me wonder, was it an intentional choice on the part of Robin Cook to not personify the bad guys? I mean, it is supposed to be a medical thriller, so maybe we're not supposed to really have feelings for the bad guys, and that's why the author goes into so much trouble of making the good guy characters believable characters and the bad guy characters more one-dimensional, motivated primarily by greed. It's easier to see them as the bad guy. Take them down! And then, of course, there are more instances where I'm like, really, Robin Cook? Really? For example, on page 195, Jennifer watched her walk away, lamenting just how little she'd be able to eat and how much she'd have to exercise to have an equivalent body. She then turned her attention and acknowledged as much to Nurse Kumar, a beautiful woman. Really, Jennifer's just met Nurse Kumar. She's going to acknowledge to a stranger her infatuation with this other woman's body. This is also like the 50th time that Robin Cook has talked about how hot this particular nurse is. After already talking about like how hot Jennifer is. Like, come on, can we do something other than talk about women's bodies, please? Nurse Kumar actually responds to Jennifer's comments about this other hot nurse. Nurse Kumar says, "You think so?" Nurse Kumar questions stiffly, and then changes the subject. And this is interesting, because this hot nurse is described as being very thin. And so, at least as far as I know from the people that I know that are from India or South Asia in general, the standard of beauty isn't always very thin. The standard of beauty is usually at least a little more curvy than what in the United States we would consider beautiful. Like, we consider in the United States generally people who have like ribs showing and like collarbones showing to be skinny enough. Like, just look at a lot of our celebrities. Not all of them. I think it's changing. As much as I don't like the Kim Kardashians in the world, I do appreciate that they're opening up the door for more standards of beauty to be more widely accepted among the population. I wonder if Nurse Kumar's stiff response of, "You think so?" is actually just her being like, actually, she's way too skinny. What are you talking about? And if it's actually like a cultural disconnect. since Jennifer, being from the United States, would probably think skinny is good, whereas Nurse Kumar, not being from the United States, might instead be like, she should have at least a little bit of meat on her bones. I don't feel like the author is being intentionally sexist in his book. He actually does try to bring to the forefront of the reader's attention some common issues that women face every day in regards to expectations. For example, on page 182, Jennifer, the protagonist, swears, and she apologizes for her language. And then the person she's talking to says, "You don't have to apologize. I raised 2 boys." Then Jennifer says, "Maybe so, but most people don't give women the same latitude." Very true. Thank you for addressing that, Robin Cook. I've also been on the lookout for more clues about why it's called Foreign Body. So far, I just have the one that I actually came across a little bit earlier in the book. But I'm halfway through the book now. Still, no more explicit clues like that. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Make sure you join in for another read-along. I feel like I'm in the jungle. I love these things. Take them down!